So you think you're a transgender woman, or maybe you think that maybe you are. You're not 100% sure. Um, I know it's not necessarily something that snaps and you realize that it is what it is. Sometimes it takes many months or many years or many decades to figure out who you are. I help people like you all the time. I help people who need help with mentoring and with transition help. I help people on their fitness journeys to feminize their bodies and all that stuff. But what if you're just not sure if you're trans or not? Um, Now, transgender means born in the wrong body, having the mind, in my example, having the mind of a woman and a body that didn't match. So I had to transition to match my body with my mind. And now my mind and my body are together, and I feel that everything is right, and I am much happier as a result. I help people that do this. I help people transition all the time. Sometimes it starts in ways like with clothing or maybe with a body part, for example, breasts or genitals or clothing or just not feeling right. Maybe your energy is always feminine. Maybe it's softer. Maybe you always like to play with girls when you were growing up. Maybe the boy things didn't feel authentic to you. However, it is, it might be all of those things. um, but if you're thinking about this, if you're fantasizing about being a different person, um, being a cis woman, a transgender woman, if you're imagining yourself just living day to day as a woman, chances are you're probably trans. But obviously, everyone has to go on their own journey. Um, I will say that cis men don't spend their days fantasizing about being a woman or having breasts or having a vagina or going out living their life as a woman. They just don't do that. um, could it happen once in a blue moon? Sure. Just like I can fantasize about being a frog. It doesn't really mean anything. Um, I have dreams that are silly where I'm flying like Superman. I don't really want to be Superman. Wouldn't mind some of the powers, but you know. Um, so being a trans woman is scary and daunting. If you have ideas of feeling like a like this body as opposed to the masculine body that I had pre-transition, that is a typical sign of somebody who is trans or at least somewhere on the gender spectrum that doesn't really fit to a cis male. So um, it is generally considered by most people who are trans that they have to go through some form of transition. Some people don't do anything physically. Some people, they are totally content being transgender and never transitioning. But if you're somebody who, like me, wanted to transition their body to match with their mind, and be able to wear the clothes and be able to live a life as the person you were always meant to be, then chances are you are a trans person and trans woman. Now, obviously, that falls along the lines of spectrum. Some people are non-binary. Some people are genderqueer. There's so many places that you can stop along the gender spectrum that feel authentic to you. Um, this is where I landed, and this is the place that feels most authentic to me. And that is such an important thing because what's authentic to me is very different than what's authentic to somebody else. And so I get a lot of people asking me, well, I like your transition or something along those lines. And I said, well, my transition was mine and your transition will be yours. And that's amazing. That's the best thing, is that you find your own path. Um, Duplicating somebody else's journey will just mean that you went from living one life that wasn't yours to living somebody else's life that also isn't yours. So that will also prove to be very unfulfilling. I'm very happy as this person. This is the place that I am very content. But that was only specifically for me, and everyone else will go on their own journey. Itchy boobs. Okay, so you think you're trans, you're not sure. Now you have all of these humongous questions like, what am I going to do? Am I going to transition? Am I going to blow up my life? Will people accept me? Will this, will that? You will be stuck in this feeling of this massive shift in your life. Because, like one of the people I was talking to yesterday, they're married, they have kids, they have developed a life where people who they've interacted with have expectations of their behavior, expectations of how they dress, expectations of their gender, and expectations upon expectations upon expectations. That feels very daunting, to go from one life to a totally opposite life. What's interesting about that is there's true and false. You do go through a transition and you become a different person, but it still ends up being your life. You ends up being so much of who you are still remains. It's not like you're changing everything about yourself. You're just changing that one thing about yourself. And obviously, that has a few other implications, but it's not like you're turning one person into a different person. It's actually the opposite. It's turning the fake parts of oneself into the more real parts of oneself. And so that's a really great way of looking at transition, is that you are becoming more like yourself and less like the person that you aren't. So I fixed the glasses, fixed the shirt, and I'm ready to talk again. So you think you're trans and you have daunting questions about what to do. First idea for me, I've always thought, is sit and don't make a decision on the spot. Don't be rash. Be intentional with what your next steps are. That could mean talking to family. That could mean talking to a therapist. That could mean just sitting with yourself and really thinking about your life and what it is that you want in life. And is it that you want to live your life for yourself in your most authentic version, or is it that you will sacrifice yourself for the comfort of other people? And trust me when I say you only get to choose one of those two things, either you or the comfort of others. Perceived comfort, at least. Because sometimes we assume the worst. We assume everyone around us is going to tell us to screw off, but that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen nearly as much as we believe it's going to happen. I thought everyone was going to leave me. It didn't happen. And not only did it not happen, I kept so many of the people from my past, but I also found a wonderful community of people in the future as my current self. You become more of yourself, not less of yourself. Feeling that being transgender is that you don't get to be yourself actually is very much the opposite. You actually get to find yourself. I always often joke with Madison, my fiance, how I am so much more than I ever used to be. So much more proud of my existence, proud of who I am. And it's allowed me to be such a kinder, gentler version of myself. And that is specifically because I came out to myself and I started living my life. If you need help, reach out to me. I can help you. If it's something that you need just to talk, I can be there. If it's something that you need with help, with your transition, I can be there too, just as a sounding board. If you need help with your physical fitness journey, if you want to change your body, make your waist smaller, make your body more feminine, I can do that too. I can really help you. Um, Madison and I own a business called Phases of Fit, and we help specifically trans people, help them feminize their body, help them align their body with their minds, help them with pre and post op surgery help, getting them into surgery better, getting them out of surgery with less complications and happier, more successful results. So if you're a queer person and you need help with that, let me know. Um, we have helping a lot of people. We even have like a free app and a free community that we're building here of people who just want to live happy lives. So if you're trans or if you think you're trans, speak to a professional, reach out to me. If you're somebody who wants help with your transition, I've done it before. I know lots of other people who have also done it, and we are a wonderful sounding board for you. So, with that being said, love you all. Hope you all follow your path to true authenticity.